Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Stout, founder and CEO of Vinco Bar Exam Coaching. And we are continuing on with our series of interviewing former Vinco students who have successfully passed the bar exam. Woo! Today we have Zarije joining us, whose name I just learned how to properly pronounce after knowing her for 6 months or so. Traumatizing to me, not her. But nonetheless, we are celebrating her success. So thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Finally enjoying some nice weather in this neck of the woods, so can't complain. Let's just jump right in because what we're doing today is having you tell a little bit about your bar prep experience in general and a little bit about your experience working with Vinco.
Okay.
So my first question for you is, when you decided that you wanted to hire a coach or tutor or someone to help you out with bar prep, what were you looking for? What was important to you in that search?
Well, when looking for a tutor, my primary concern was to find someone that would be there for me and support me, not only academically, but emotionally. I failed the June 2018 bar, and after failing, I was just in a dark place. And I don't know what I could have done differently. And when I sought out a tutor, I needed someone to provide me the structure that I needed, but to help ease my anxiety, because the bar exam is a huge exam and it changes your life. And I just needed that support.
So both like academic and like mental, emotional,
Yeah.
support. Both aspects were important to you. And on that note of like coaching, tutoring, right? So at Vinco, we call ourselves coaches, and I all the time say tutor too, just because it's so involved, so ingrained in our brain. But that's probably the number one question I get is like, well, what is like coaching? What does that mean? Like, people know what tutoring is, but then when I say, well, that's not exactly what we do, I give some long, convoluted response. I find it really helpful to ask our students to talk a little bit about like, what was the coaching experience like? Like, what did you consider coaching kind of versus tutoring?
Well, honestly, Vinco wasn't, and I don't believe that Vinco was a tutoring company per se. I always thought of you guys as coaches and friends. The primary distinction between a coach and a tutor is a coach is someone that is willing to be there for you around the clock. A tutor gives you hours. They tell you what to do. They don't really support you the same way that a coach does.
Like, they don't move along, kind of like move along with you. It's more like a set thing. Like, it's like, this is
Exactly.
what we're doing, and it's
Yeah.
limited in scope more. Yeah.
Right. And I honestly, I've had tutors before, and I'm not saying that they didn't give me the tools that I needed to succeed, but they didn't give me the support that a coach did. I remember during bar prep this time around in February, I broke my, I didn't break my leg, but I sprained my ankle,
Yeah.
and I was working, and I was just constantly having things thrown at me, and I was always overwhelmed, always. But um, you were my coach, and you
Yes.
were there for me.
Guilty.
Unfortunately for her, unfortunately for me. No, but throughout the whole process, you've been nothing but supportive and encouraging. That's what a coach does. They encourage you to have a positive mindset, and they encourage you to keep pushing through even when you're exhausted, even when you're tired. Like, I remember there would be days where I wouldn't be scoring well, and you'd say, it's just one day, it's not your entire progression. And
Yeah.
when I looked at the totality of my scores, I was in the 60s and 70s, and I was just doing awesome. But some days I would be in the 40s, and and you would tell me just to not get stuck there. And those were the days that I was like, she's my coach, she's my friend, she's there for me, she's not a tutor. Like,
It's like that outside perspective, like being able to be your eyes and ears on the outside to keep you moving forward. And, actually, if you would talk for a minute about like, you had a crazy schedule, right? And like, this was like stressful your schedule was stressful for me, and I didn't even have to do it. And so can you share a little bit about like what that was like, how much you were balancing, and like what your average day of studying looked like?
so you know I I hate when people say that you can't work and take the bar.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not ideal, but you can do it.
I don't like that. I think it's a quitter's mindset. So I remember that you asked me initially, you were like, provide me your hours. I will create a schedule individually for you. No one else. No one can have your schedule. It's for you. It's meant for you. Just mine. And so I give you my hours and you look at me like I'm a psychopath. So my hours.
I was scared.
Yeah, you were like, you know you're going to have to work really hard because you only have 3 hours a day to study. So initially, ideally, I would go into the office 7 or 8 and I'd get out of the office 7 or 8. And Carrie Ann would be like, okay, well, how many hours are you studying a day? And I'd say 2 or 3. And she's like, so you study from 7 to 11 at night? And I was like, sometimes 8 to 11. And that was in January alone. I think I took the second week of February off, right?
Yeah, you had like about 2 full weeks.
Yeah, I didn't really have much time, but you know, throughout the whole process, I would study every weekend. I wouldn't go out. I would go to work. I'd go to the gym, and honestly, you were my only friend. I think I've talked to you more than my own family. I talked to you more than my friends. Even like my peers at work were like, what are you doing? So
there was no time for anything else. And you even made, if I'm remembering, like some choices about like shifting your schedule a little bit to get up earlier and get in earlier. But
you would meet with me at 7 a.m.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
we would meet every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Tuesday or Thursday, we'd meet at 7 a.m. Until 8. And then after a call, I would go straight to work. And then after work, I would go straight to the library. Yep. You would help me organize where I was going to study. You helped me organize what I was going to study, what time I was going to study. Yeah. You literally organized my life.
And you made the important sacrifices. So that's on you. But if you could talk a little bit about, you said that this was your second time taking the bar that you passed. And I think it's really helpful for students to hear, like, well, what worked? What are some of those key, like 1 or 2 key changes that you really think contributed to your success this time?
Well, I remember the first time around, I was enrolled in Barbary, and I went to every class religiously. I created outlines. I was engaged in the material, but I wasn't scoring well, and it did a lot to my mindset. The second time around, you said to me, okay, look at your outlines, but I want you to do, what was it, 30 to 50 questions.
We probably started with 33 and then went to 50.
But every day I would do, every day, like even Fridays, every day I would do 30 to 50 multiple choice questions. I didn't even do that the first time around. I think I did 50 multiple choice questions for 2 weeks. Yeah, like 2 weeks straight.
These things, you can't tell me these things, they stress me out. So increasing your practice questions is one of the big changes.
My practice questions, you increased my essay questions, my MPTs. You made me sit down and review the materials. I'm telling you, Carrie Ann made me a machine. She literally gave me 2 hours to review an outline. Then she would make me, even if I didn't finish it, she'd be like, drop it.
Keep moving on.
Now we're doing multiple choice for 2 hours, time yourself. And then after that, she'd be like, okay, drop it. I don't care if you didn't finish it. I didn't care if you were halfway reviewing. Now we got to do an essay. And then
that's a really like looking at it from the outside, right? So sometimes things get interpreted to the students maybe a little different than what I'm thinking.
Right.
What I'm hearing you say is sort of like, you might have had a whole bunch of stuff half finished throughout bar prep, but you never got stuck anywhere.
No,
I wasn't really thinking about it that way, but that seemed to be very powerful for you from what you're saying.
Well, because it's like the bar exam. It's actually like the bar. It's like pre-programming you for something that you're planning to take in the future. Like, and that's the bar exam. You don't know where you're going to get. You don't know how far you'll get, but you do know that you have to keep going regardless. And you have to time yourself accordingly. And time's a huge factor of the bar exam. So I think you forced me to practice, review, apply. And like,
I feel like I should be taking notes. Like,
practice, review, and apply. And practice, gave me the confidence to just be able to do it. Reviewing just solidified what I knew, and applying it helped because then when I got other situations, I could be able to figure it out. And then timing was just, I was practicing timing the whole time.
Right.
I don't think I always timed myself from day one.
From day one.
Yeah.
Unless you were lying to me.
No, I passed, so
You were not. No, you did it. Yeah. So, I mean, that was brilliant. What you just said. I'm going to watch this and write it down and share it. And so sort of on that same note, if you could talk to someone who's getting ready to take the bar exam and you just had like 1 or 2 minutes with them, what would be like the one piece of advice? Maybe 2 if you can't choose, but one piece of advice that you would give.
I would tell them to take the bar seriously. It's not one of those tests that you can just, pull an all-nighter.
Can't cram for the bar exam.
No, and a second piece of advice that I would give is plan it out. Take it seriously, plan it out. Because if you don't have a plan, you will get lost because there's so many subjects and there's so many things that you need to know. And the most important part about knowing that information is how to apply it. And planning really helps.
Yeah, like you can't get to the applying, you can't get to the steps, the reviewing, the practicing, the applying if you don't like have a plan for when you're going to do it.
I mean, honestly, you gave me a plan from start to finish. Carrie Ann was literally within the first hour I talked to her. She's like, okay, so this week we're going to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, I work. And she's like, well, you're going to make it work. And I was
You're making me sound wonderful, right?
No, you are wonderful. You are one. This is what a coach does. A coach tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
That's true. I'm going to be making sound bites out of this left and right. But you've already said.
Yeah, you taught me, you gave me the tools like for success, but you gave me so much more than that. You gave me a friend and like you were just there for me.
And you also took the tools, and this is an important point that I'm going to make on your behalf, but you took them and implemented them and used them and took action. And I don't want that to get lost in this conversation where you said so many lovely things about me. And I very much appreciate that. And it feels good to know that we're helping.
You are, yeah.
It's all for nothing if the person on the other end isn't executing, and you did an excellent job executing. So I have one final question, and that is just, what was sort of like your favorite part about working with Vinco? We're trying to give people an idea of like who we are as a company. What's great about working with us versus maybe going with someone else, and like what would you say was like your favorite part of the experience?
Honestly, you made bar prep fun. You did. Like
nobody's gonna believe.
No. Like when I was studying on my own, I was like, before, like originally in June, it was just very difficult for me. Like I was constantly stressed out. I didn't have an outlet. I would talk to people in law school, and it was just a lot of stress. And then when I joined Vinco and the Vinco family, I just remember, I would literally email you at 11 and I'd say, Carrie Ann, I sprained my ankle. I'd say, Carrie Ann, I don't know if I could do this, or Carrie Ann, I'm sad. And you would just, send a GIF emoji. You would say, okay, take a day off. We'll figure it out. You were just constantly flexible and, always there for me. And, that's it's different than any other company because you treated me like a person, not somebody that was paying you. You treated me like I was important, and in a time
important.
Like bar prep is just one of those times. It's just like you feel like the system's kind of going against you, and you're just like another dollar sign. But I never felt like that. Like I was like glad to like take my money, be my friend, help me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we'll still be your friend, even with no more money. But
you've always been there for me. Yeah, even after.
I personally appreciate that my on-point GIF game came up in this conversation. I do pride myself in that. The funny part is that you would message me at 11 and I would message you back when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But
you're always there for me. Always.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today and just share your experience. And if you guys out there are interested in learning more about Vinco, you can find us at vincoprep.com. And I will see you guys at the next interview.